Did you guys ever? Did you guys stop wearing a Tommy Hilfiger
Nope.
after that scenario happened
Oh, yeah.
in the 90s?
Yep.
I never had it.
I did. Not completely, but
I mean, I stopped wearing it completely. I have not purchased even socks. They were Tommy Hilfiger since.
yeah, me.
And now I come across deals sometimes. I'm like, oh,
Nah, I ain't.
I would get that, but it's Tommy.
Oh, Tommy's.
They still sell
It was a debate whether he said that.
He said he didn't
He
say
said
it.
it. I saw it
He said he didn't say
on
it.
video. Yeah, he said it. I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
That's almost like the detox album. We'll never know.
Well, all right. Hey-oh! That was trash.
It was. That's what it sounded like.
No, it didn't. Actually.
I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
I was going to do it.
Flow, go ahead.
Nah. I don't have no support. Y'all don't support me.
I ain't got no rhythm. I can't support you. I don't have no
You
rhythm.
got no rhythm.
I ain't got no
You
rhythm.
might not like it, but I'm always ready.
Oh, damn, nigga.
Off the backboard. Gordon, that one.
Shit.
7-5.
Yeah. Welcome to this week's episode of the Vexed Intellect. It's Prince, man, brunch boy. Your girl likes brunch, so do I.
Is that boy with an I or why?
This is Jared Dale back again.
Welcome back. It's Jameson St. James.
Jared is back, fresh off a stint with Coronas.
A 6-pack, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
Quarantine.
It's your boy, T.O.
He might need to be on a live remote though if he had Coronas.
That was for me?
Of
Yeah.
course.
Oh, yeah.
Who else would it be for?
Oh, welcome.
Welcome back to you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
That's what I get.
And we have a special guest today.
What's going on, y'all? This is Ace of the A and DNA.
All right.
Welcome, sir.
Wow.
Welcome.
I feel the love.
That's how it goes, man.
I feel it, man.
It's because you lean into it and you're like, yeah, it's your...
Y'all talk
That was
about me when I
official,
don't
like-
put the
Right.
don't put the sauce
Exactly,
on it. So
man.
I
Of
put
course.
the sauce on it.
Is that what you call it? Sauce? Yeah.
Ooh.
Double flag on that
Can't
one.
win.
Yeah. And we are the Vexed Intellects. Gentlemen, how we doing today?
Well, I was great until
Oh, you feeling a little sensitive?
yeah, man. I'm drinking.
Cool. Take the edge off.
Wow.
I've had a week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So you survived coronavirus and what else?
It wasn't so much a corona.
Tell us about
Just a virus.
tell us about your stint in the camp.
You know what?
In the quarantine camp.
I missed last week's episode. I don't know what you're talking about. I missed last week's episode because my sugar was high. Yeah, I found out at the day of recording that I'm diabetic, type 2 diabetes. My sugar was at a 578. I'm hearing that's bad.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So what I'm told, that's bad. So the minute clinic woman was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna tell you to go to the emergency room," and they had to pump me with 2 bags of saline and some insulin and stop it. Well, okay, I walked into that one. That's fine. And yeah, I was sitting there till 1:30. So wow, yeah, your boy had a rough week between that and mom's surgery, which she's good, but yeah, it's definitely a rough
Mom
week.
having a successful,
Successful
surgery.
So, man, 587, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Glad you are,
Alive?
yep. And you appear to be taking it on a little bit. So good luck to you, and you can count on me harassing you when I see things that may not be in line for some time.
James has already harassed me about my Coke Zero.
Wow.
Just making sure it was a 0.
Well, all right.
I'm gonna make sure I get you that link, man, to what you need to do to make some adjustments. You know what I mean? So it's all about a lifestyle change. So
Appreciate that.
All right.
not that you're doing anything wrong now, but
Yeah.
we all gotta enhance stuff.
Indeed. All right. Before we get into it, we actually have an ad today. This week's episode is brought to you by the computer game Call of Data, Modern Surveillance. This game is similar to Call of Duty Modern Warfare, except you play as Mark Zuckerberg on a quest to obtain all the data from all the humans. No one knows what you'll use it for. All they know is the things they think about or discuss in private keep popping up all over their timelines and search web pages. And that is scary as fuck. Call of Data, Modern Surveillance. Today's day is February 13th, 2020. And our word of the day is...
Wait.
You said February.
My bad, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Shit. Wow, I'm way off. Oh.
And you said the 13th.
Yeah, I did. My bad. 13's my... Yeah, nah, that's bad. Shit.
Your favorite number? 13?
13 is my favorite. I tried to recover. I just fucked up.
I was trying.
My bad, guys.
I was shooting for you.
Yeah, I tried to recover with some shit. My bad.
He came off the bench.
Yeah, my bad. It's March 5th. Yeah. 2020. I'm almost a month.
Close.
See, I'm time traveling right now, guys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Wow. He said same thing. Yeah, same thing. Same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's another day. Yeah. Huh?
It's March 3rd.
No,
No,
today
that's-
we release on the so we record 2 days in advance. Yeah.
Let
Welcome, bro. Yeah, well, that's
let
your
me-
first one. You
let
got your
me
first
know,
one.
Let me know what's going on. He said it got me.
You got your first one, man. You got your first one.
You know what? It happens to us all. We've all done
I hear
it.
that shit.
Rite of passage.
Well, all right. Our word of the day, my bad, guys, is whoops. Rectitudinous. Rectitudinous. It is a noun. It means characterized by the quality of being honest and morally correct, or piously self-righteous. Rectitudinous.
Rectitudinous.
Yeah. I don't have a sentence to use.
Yeah, it's no way I'm going to be able to say that word.
Yeah, it's easy.
Rectitudinous?
Yeah, it's easy.
It's easy.
Something like a rect.
Whoa. Yeah. All right. So today's day is March 5th. A couple fun facts about today. On this day in 1770, the Boston Massacre occurred, and Christmas Atucks, a black man, was the first to die, just like in horror films. So, shout out. I don't know if I should be applauding. He's the first one to give his life for this country.
There you go.
He's a true patriot.
Yeah, that's how you say it.
There you go. And now I got a few fun facts from 2019. So on this day last year, Bugatti announced the most expensive new car ever made, the La Voiture Noire, costing almost $19 million, and only one will be made. Also on this day last year, 2019, the second ever person, air quotes, cured of HIV after a stem cell transplant treatment in London, England. The results were published in Nature, so publication. And lastly, last year, 2019, Kylie Jenner became the world's youngest ever billionaire at age 21.
I believe we covered it here on
Did we
the
break
Vexed
the first?
Intellects. Yeah.
Yeah, as I was... So, did we record on this day last year? That's crazy, right? Because I almost remember talking about Christmas Atucks specifically. Obviously, we didn't talk about the other three things.
Yeah.
Well, leap year, maybe.
Yeah, I was about to say we had an extra
Yeah.
day.
It's
True. There we go. Well,
And also-
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and also Bentley announced that they're coming out with a super premium convertible
That
today.
shit is fire. You seen
Fire.
it?
$2 million?
No top at
No
all.
top.
No top.
Serious.
Yeah. That shit.
I guess March 5th is an announcement type of day
Yeah.
in the car biz.
Well, all right. I think that is a great time to get into. That was trash. Oops.
All right, we start first with your coronavirus update.
Yeah.
Yeah, so globally, coronavirus has now affected over 90,000 people in 70 countries. 3,000 people have died as a result of it, and now it's starting to spread throughout the United States. 27 cases in Washington being the highest total among all states with 9 deaths. And this just in, it's in Georgia where we record the Vexed Intellects. Gentlemen, your thoughts about the spreading of the virus here in the United States?
Good.
Only a matter of time.
Yeah.
We talk about all the time how it's a global economy, and at some point we're going to be one community and have to move as a world. This is one of those things that are impacted by that. You can't move from one side of the world to the other side of the world so quickly and prevent a virus. Is that a sneeze?
Wow. That was like a little cough, bro.
Cough.
Speaking of corona, you
bro.
straight?
Come on, don't do that.
You straight?
Yeah, we ain't seen you in a few days, bro.
Don't do that.
If you start sweating,
Don't do that.
so go
It's kind of shit.
so go to
That's
end
Zika,
early.
One of them. Hell. SARS.
We don't want either, but
Yeah, swine and or bird flu is one of them motherfuckers.
Swine day in the orb.
Yeah, one of them motherfuckers. Yeah, but it's crazy. Like you guys just said, it was only a matter of time before we got it. I mean, it is what it is. I've been seeing a lot of our Asian brothers and sisters getting some discriminatory treatment, and I don't know if you guys saw Jenna Mai on The Real had something passionate to say about it. Let me play a quick clip real quick.
This is a problem. This is not, I'm not talking about just racism against Asians. This is racism, period. This is minorities against minorities. Yo, guys, we all know what it's like to struggle living in our skin. Why are we doing this to each other? This is racism itself, and racism is not going to save racism.
So yeah, it was a young Asian gentleman that got jumped in the UK, man. He got beat up pretty bad. They were saying it was because of coronavirus, and you hear stories or see stuff every day online about people running from Asian people. It's just not cool, man. It's not cool.
and I think it's even less cool because information is pervasive, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not like everyone doesn't have a walking computer in their phone.
Right.
And so you can see that it's not isolated to Asian people. And the disease doesn't just jump off of somebody onto you.
Right.
And to beat someone up because of it, it's just crazy. It's just like they want to, it seems like they want an excuse.
Yeah.
And this is the new excuse on to persecute someone.
Yeah.
4.
All right, your boy Spike Lee had a little dust up that surfaced online. Spike Lee was shown yelling at a Madison Square Garden security outside of an elevator, leading some to believe that he was thrown out of the arena. Now, a Knicks spokesperson says that is completely untrue, but Spike did get on TV on ESPN mentioning that he probably won't be going to any more Knicks games for the remainder of the season.
That was an easy choice. Trash per usual.
So, do the Knicks and Spike Lee, do they finally got beef? Is this the way a true love story ends?
So apparently he goes in or has been going in through the employee entrance, and apparently they've changed their policy. According to James Dolan, they've now changed their policy. All of the VIPs are to go through a VIP entrance. So they still have a special entrance, But Spike wanted to go the way that he's gone for the last 20, 30 years that he's been a season ticket holder, and he was met with some interference from security, and James Dolan actually came and spoke to him. So I actually, I don't know, man. I'm kind of with New York, the Knicks organization here, because if that's the new policy and they communicated that to you last night, tell you, hey man, going forward, like they're not discriminating against you. They're not, it's nothing against you personally. There's no witch hunt here. That's just their new policy.
Yeah, and one would have to think that he had some notice.
Yeah.
How old is Spike Lee again?
Spike is the Deuce Triple OG.
So you know how old guys get.
Yeah.
Old people in general, they don't
Yeah.
change. You know they say it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
True.
And then two, if the Knicks threw out Oakley,
Yeah.
they'll throw out Spike.
Right. Right.
If you gonna throw out one of the guys that when you were winning,
Right. I actually played for you.
yeah.
Like, nigga, I bled for y'all. You do this to me?
The person you've made hundreds of millions of dollars off of.
Yeah.
So Spike was telling the story. He said that he wasn't notified. He said they told him after the fact. He was already in.
Right.
And they came to him, and his argument was, I had already scanned my ticket. You scanned my ticket,
And you can't scan it again.
and you wanted him to get up. He was already in the elevator.
Yeah.
They wanted him to leave out and go outside and go in another entrance. And he was like, everybody knows you when you go into a sporting event, you can't scan your ticket twice.
Right.
So he was like, I don't trust that. What are y'all doing? So that's
Yeah.
and then once he went back to his seat, that's when Dolan, came to him and was like, hey, we need to, and that's when they told him about, now, who's telling the truth? I don't know. I know he's,
Yep, they might have sent him an email.
But
Or
that was
paper
his point.
notice.
He said, y'all didn't text me,
Yeah.
call me, send an email. If y'all changed the policy, then why didn't anybody let me know? Like you said, I've been coming here almost 30
I'm
days.
sure he's got handlers though.
Yeah, he
They might have
does.
dropped the ball.
But if he gets back to his seat, this is where Dolan is a jerk.
But we
We know that, you know what I mean? But he does stuff like that kind of stuff. You know what? You have a conversation with Spike after the game. You know what I mean? And then you got to realize you just not even 9 months ago or less than a year ago, you had the dust up with Oakley that went viral.
Yeah.
Now you're going to do it to a second guy that's going to go viral. That's when you know Dolan don't care about nothing. That's when you know you got people who make so much money.
Yep.
They
don't care.
They don't care no more. They don't care about PR. They don't care about nothing.
Yeah,
So that's who you're dealing with when it comes to Dolan. So, and I blame Knicks fans, the whole fan base. Just don't go to a game on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying boycott the whole season. Just don't go to that one game that's going to be televised to the whole world. Don't show up. And I bet you his handlers, Dolan handlers, change their whole format of how they do business.
Yeah, and you're doing this to your Jack Nicholson. Like he's like a mascot.
basically.
You know what I mean? He's like a mascot. So
Yeah.
you're treating him this way. Like what kind of message
He's the
does that
mascot for the
send?
NBA.
Yeah, absolutely. He's an ambassador. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's bullshit, man. Like you said, Dolan's trash. He getting ready to sell the Forum, the Balmer. So he, like you said, he has so much bread, man. He don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And he makes shitty music with his band. So yeah.
All right, legendary hip hop group Public Enemy has fired Flavor Flav. Thought I'd give y'all a little energy with that.
Good job.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna try it. The band announced this past Sunday after the rapper sent a cease and desist letter
Wow.
to. Hey, I'll try it.
Okay.
Passing out
Wow.
Cease and desist letter to Senator Bernie Sanders in response to an announcement that co-founder Chuck D planned to perform under the group's name at a rally for the presidential candidate. So, Flavor Flav wouldn't with that. You know, basically did the cease and desist. Said his likeness should not be used for this rally, this political rally, and the group overall just fired Flavor Flav. I need to get y'all thoughts on this. How do y'all feel about all this?
Should have fired Flavor Flav when he was doing in love with Flavor Flav when they should have fired him.
Flavor of love. Yeah. Yeah, but that gave him, something to do with some notoriety. I don't believe he was on tour with them last year when I saw them in Scotland. Flavor Flav wasn't there. And so I think he's kind of a hit or
Weird
miss.
flex. Okay. You know, when I was in Scotland,
When I was
my
I was
24
abroad,
karat gold
I saw
plated robe
PE.
from my balcony as I was being fed grapes.
And not Madison Square Garden.
Damn it! I didn't think about it. My bad. What I was trying to say is that he's kind of a hit or miss part of the show anyway, because he's really just a hype man.
Yeah, I'm in rehab.
How many barrels of scotch did you buy when you was over there though?
0. I can't afford a barrel.
Oh. But I mean, so do y'all think Flav was so go right past that? Y'all think Flav was wrong?
So I got his tweets. He actually responded. He was like, so at Chuck D, are you kidding me right now? Like over Bernie Sanders with like 3 question marks. He's like, you want to destroy something we've built over 35 years over politics, all because I don't want to endorse a candidate? I'm very disappointed in you and your decisions right now, Chuck. Also, Chuck, I'm not on drugs like you're saying and have been clean for 10 years. I've battled addiction before, and like millions of other Americans, I know the massive toll it takes. Chuck, you know better than to lie about shit like that. I didn't sue you on Friday. I asked Bernie Sanders' campaign to correct misleading marketing. That's all it was. So,
I think it was right.
so y'all were rocking with Flav on
I'm
that?
rocking with Flav on that one. I
Yeah.
think it was right.
Yeah.
It's messy, man. Because I was reading an article and Chuck has made comments, and I think his lawyers and stuff have made comments about well, technically like he owned the name and.
Yeah, no, Chuck owns
well,
all the rights. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does.
They're talking about he even wrote a lot of the classic lines for Flav. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, they getting into all of that. Like, come on.
Everybody knew that, though. I thought that Flav was,
It's like, hold up now.
He's a hype man.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
I'm gonna ask a question again on this one. How old is Chuck and Flav?
true.
We
Too
got some
OGs
OGs
battling.
like battling.
Yeah.
They get
Yeah.
stubborn in their ways. You know what I mean?
That's,
It's
that's
just
what it is.
yeah.
Yeah, true.
Damn, man. Yeah, you hate to see it.
Yeah, just see it. Yeah,
And Chuck probably feels like he's been carrying him.
for
all
sure.
this time.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, as well.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe they'll work it out.
All right. As we kind of let the cat out of the bag, we do record on Tuesday, so Super Tuesday is going on right now.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. It's all right. Currently, right now, Biden has won South Carolina, projected to win North Carolina, Virginia, Oklahoma, and Alabama. Bernie Sanders has won Vermont and Colorado. Is this now just a 2-person race, and then is Biden, in your opinion, the favorite to win?
Well, the establishment is very afraid of Bernie. It's looking like it's going to be Bernie, so it really feels like a last-ditch effort by the Democratic establishment to make a push for Biden. Mayor Pete and Klobuchar, they both dropped out and immediately endorsed Biden. So the timing of it before Super Tuesday, you have to believe or feel like conversations were had. You have to feel that way. Also, Beto O'Rourke came out and endorsed Biden as well. So it really feels like there's a push from the party. And they don't want Bernie. They didn't want him in 2016, as we've talked about ad nauseum. He's not bought, so he's not going to play ball. So they don't want that. And maybe they truly feel like you can't run a socialist candidate, but.
That last word you just said,
Yep,
that's
me
the thing that Republicans on the other side have done a great job over the last decade of confuse. I'm gonna be back a little bit. I believe 2/3 of the population, especially in the U.S., is stupid. You can quote me on it.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's so you mentioned about having phones and tablets or whatever. People still get the wrong information.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's not hard to confuse people on what socialism is and how it can benefit you. You know what I mean? So they've done a great job, and so that Bernie's never going to be able to wash that off of them.
Nope.
And so He just don't scare the establishment on the Democratic side, though. He scares the establishment on the Republican side, too.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So as far as certain programs and things of that nature that talk about being bought or, the 1% that owns the country, things of that nature, it doesn't work for them. You know what I mean? So, but they've done a great job in skewing that word. Like, it's no difference than racism and prejudice and, you know what I mean? People confuse those words all the time. You know what I mean? So, socialism is another word, even though 100% of us want to be able to get a check once we turn 62.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But hey, if I become a millionaire, they'll take my money. I don't want them to take my money because one day I could be a millionaire too.
And you look at every tax return to see how much is going to what you're supposed to get when you turn 62 or 65 or whatever it is.
Yeah, that upward mobility thing that keeps people voting against their own self-interest. Yeah, aspirations.
I mean, so when it comes to Bernie Sanders, I kind of feel like the Republican establishment would want a Bernie Sanders as a candidate. I don't think they're afraid of him as a candidate. They're afraid of him as a president.
Yes.
But I think there's multiple reasons, part of which Asa brought up. Folks are not educated on the difference between socialism, communism, and democracy. They think they're all the same. Mm-hmm. Socialism and communism, that is, are the same. And so they don't know about Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all those things being quote unquote socialist style programs. It's like you want, on one hand, you want all those programs, and on the other hand, you don't want him as a president. So
public schools.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And
Yep.
so I think we need a deeper dive on that later on the show. But I don't know that Bernie could win either. So
do y'all think that it's a coup, if you will, from the DNC national, just ironically or out of the blue, everybody's endorsing Biden, and there's this push, for Biden.
I don't think it's ironic. I think it's the perfect timing.
Yeah.
But they, I feel maybe they did it. They let it all play out. So you can't say, if they did it a month ago, it would look worse. You know what I mean? But
They tried. Iowa.
yeah,
They tried.
yeah. So
They tried.
and you also have to remember, Bernie is a convenient Democrat.
Yeah.
He's really an independent.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I heard.
So
Yep.
so it's easy for the party to break time.
So think about that. You have basically now left an independent
Oh my God.
in Bernie.
I'm thinking about your boy.
You have a Republican, a former Republican in Bloomberg, a former Republican in Warren, and you have basically a fucking Republican in Biden, a moderate.
Yep.
And Biden.
And a former Democrat in Trump.
America.
Parties of convenience.
and they all multi-millionaires.
Absolutely.
That's the common
Absolutely.
thread.
Gotta love it.
All right. Finally, Chris Matthews announced during his long-running television show Hardball that Monday night's episode Hardball
Pause.
would be the program's last.
Pit. All right.
All right. So this decision follows after Lauren Bassett's allegations that he said inappropriate comments to her about her appearance in the makeup room over several instances. So did he get forced out? This is timing.
Several what now? Sorry.
Instances.
Oh, okay.
He said instances.
Incense. Oh, okay.
Badu
fragrance.
Yeah.
Put that on.
Coming soon. What are your thoughts on all this?
Y'all see him on air? Just basically, they went to break and he was gone.
I'm out.
Yeah.
That's how you quit a job, though. I'm out.
Yes. He was like, well, there's some shit about to come out. So, hey, y'all, it's been real, man. I've been on the air for about 11 years. I'm out, man. Peace. That was wild. But I saw some pushback in the timelines where people was like, how convenient that he gets to essentially go out on his own terms and not have to face the music. Gets to fall on his own sword, not be banished and embarrassed. And apparently a lot of people behind the scenes knew about this and no one said anything. So And I also find it ironic that this all comes out after he says what he said about Bernie here recently. So it's all nasty.
Then they call him a Nazi.
Yeah.
So,
And I had to come back and apologize on air and everything.
y'all might think I don't like old people, but
All that gray in your beard, though. I don't know.
how old is Chris Matthews?
Another triple OG. Yeah.
Another.
You know, again, it's hard to, you are what you are, right?
Right.
But before we got on air, I think this is the reason why it so disgusts me about Oprah and Gail with Kobe, because Chris Matthews going to have 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 women going to probably come out and be like they've experienced something. You know what I mean?
Coming like, oh shit,
And
y'all
so-
fair, cool.
And so I had Kobe had a run-in with somebody, and in the next 20 some odd years, you didn't hear squat from nobody. Or even when he had the incident with the one girl, you would have figured when you look at any male, especially a man in power,
Yep.
when they get in trouble with any type of sexual allegation, somebody else always come out the woodwork, always.
Attach myself to it now, yeah.
And so for everybody to be, crickets with Kobe lets me know a lot of things. You know what I mean? That's not who he is. Because again, I'm like, you're a triple OG. You are what you are.
Or did he learn his lesson?
Nah, if you are what you are, you don't learn your lesson. You know what I mean? I don't.
I'm sorry. If
If that's your tendency, I should put it like
well,
that.
I don't know. And I'm not attacking Kobe by any means, but what I'd say is, if you have a situation where your life is on the line, you could learn that lesson. Your livelihood, your life, your legacy, all those things are on the line. Absolutely, you can learn that lesson and turn the corner. Be like, oh man, he didn't really get away with it because he had court and trial and in a court of public opinion. He took a really huge L. And so what I'd say is maybe he learned a lesson, and even if nothing happened, right? So he wasn't convicted, of a crime. So I don't want to assert that a sexual assault or a crime happened. But what I'd say is, just being in that situation and knowing that it could all be taken away for nothing, or nothing per,
Anything illegal.
the convictions, right? I mean, nothing as far as like an assault, legal assault on someone. And so having it all have the option of taking it away, it's easy. It's a good lesson to learn, and I would say maybe he learned that lesson.
I get it, we can talk forever about the guys that you would think learned that lesson, and 6 months later, I can say somebody right now, AB.
Oh man.
you feel what I'm saying? Like just
Right.
most times, I get you, but I just feel you are what you are. You know what I mean? If you have that tendency, and he has the means and the power and the money to do so, maybe do you get smarter? But most times they don't get smarter. They keep on doing what they do.
Yeah, when you don't learn the lesson.
Yeah.
And I think there's just two sides to that coin, but I hear what you're saying for sure. There's often a track record that comes along with it.
Yeah.
And that was first things first.
Thank you, Jared Dam, for those incense.
Incense.
We here at the Vexed Intellects love the ladies. And to show our appreciation for the ladies, we have a segment entitled You Glow Girl, where we highlight incredible feats performed by women. Who wants to go first? Anyone? I'll go, if not.
I'll go first.
Oh,
I'll go first.
hey.
This is new.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awful. I feel like this month I'm going to go ahead and do one for each episode. I'm going to do one for Women's History Month, to honor Women's History Month.
Dope. Shout out that. Hold on.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I am looking at, great women throughout history, and this week I want to nominate Alice Ball. She was an African American chemist who developed the first successful treatment for those suffering with Hansen's disease, which later was also called leprosy. So she died at the age of 24. She didn't realize her impact, what she made to the world. So, but we appreciate her efforts and what she's done. So, Alice Ball, you glow, girl.
You glow,
Glow, girl. You glow.
What happened? You glow, girl.
Yeah. Didn't think nobody got that.
Yeah, come.
No, we are. I'll go next. So last
glow,
week,
glow.
don't. Listen,
Oh man.
juggling and gun.
Oh,
Toxic masculinity.
Go, nigga.
So last week, I'm gonna give my shout out from last week. Ramona Hood, the newest CEO at FedEx, the first black woman to take the lead at the company in history. She was formerly the vice president of operations, strategy, and planning, and has been promoted to both president and CEO of FedEx Custom Critical, which provides same-day and overnight delivery of expedited freight. So definitely a great accomplishment there. And so Ramona Hood, you glow, girl. You glow, girl.
Go ahead. You
All right.
glow, glow.
All right. My nominee this week is gonna be Miss Lash Nolan of Compton, California. Miss Lash is the first black woman to be elected as class president of Harvard Medical School. And she said that she views this as an opportunity to create a pipeline for others who look like her to hold positions of leadership at Harvard Medical School. She also said when applying to Harvard Medical School, she didn't see a lot of people who looked like her in student council or positions of leadership. And she said, I think it's important to show black people that you can also be the face of a university. So you can actually check out the entire article at Teen Vogue. So shout out to Miss Lash Nolan. You glow, girl.
You glow, girl.
You go.
so yeah. So I didn't have a lot of time to prepare, obviously, for this one either. But
It is.
Copping, please.
But I want to go into my personal bag as far as
Okay.
who I want to give personal.
Okay.
And so I don't even need Hilda Abbott.
Okay.
She is currently the CEO of a small real estate firm named called Partner. Okay. And so she's originally from Miami, Florida, by way of the Dominican Republic. And she's actually my mentor in the real estate game. So she's taken the time out with me these last 3 years to give me insight, tricks of the trade, things of that nature. And so that's my personal shout out. And she's a Woman of the Year. You want to look her up, Hilda Abbott. She's also the Woman of the Year if you go to the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce site and check her out there. She's their Woman of the Year for 2020.
Nice.
You glow, girl.
Hilda Adams.
You glow, girl.
Hilda Abbott.
Abbott.
Yeah.
You glow, girl. All right.
All right. All right.
Hey, man, I'm trying to be a
this
team
week-
player, man.
I want to shout out Miss B. Dixon. She is the owner of Honey Pot. And if you guys have paid attention this week,
Oh yeah.
it was a bit of news about Honey Pot. So last month, Target decided to show love for Black History Month to the founders of particular companies and brands that they wanted to highlight and showcase. And B was one of those, and she's an Atlanta native. Shout out B for that. But yeah, she said that she wanted to be an example for black girls, to show them that it's possible, and a lot of Karens didn't like that. So they went and left 1-star negative reviews, and Black Twitter, man, to the rescue. Everybody represented, went and put a whole bunch of 5-star reviews. Trustpilot, which is like a, I guess kind of like a Angie's List, if you will, or Yelp. For companies, that's where a lot of the negative reviews were. So they actually shut down that particular post about the company because of all the negative backlash. But shout out to all the sisters in Black Twitter that actually showed up for B, man, because that was dope. They were trying to come for her. I don't understand why it's always such a negative thing when we want to uplift ourselves. I will never understand why that will be viewed as negative to them. I'll never understand. But so I just wanted to shout out B. Dixon. You glow, girl.
You glow, girl.
What?
You heard. Come on.
Okay.
Come on, man.
So close.
Wow. All right, man. Got a couple other little highlights that we couldn't fit into first things first. First, wanted to shout out that the United States House of Representatives have officially passed a bill to make lynching a federal hate crime. So, after 120 years of this bill being blocked and ignored, it has finally passed. And it's going to be known as the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act. Y'all got any thoughts on that?
Sure. Lots of thoughts. It just reminds you how close we are from a historical perspective to that age where lynching was a commonplace. Emmett Till, that incident was what galvanized the country and helped move civil rights forward. So it's, rightfully so that it's named after him. And the last thing I'll say is the 4 congressmen, senators who voted against it. What were you thinking? So.
Yeah, I think it came out that they didn't agree with some of the additions that were on the bill, but regardless of all that, I mean,
right.
I think that's my biggest problem, with Congress and it's the legislative branch in general, whether it's local, state, or federal. It's just the added little extra stuff in the games. Like, this is a big deal, and regardless of whatever added extra stuff that you don't personally care for, it looks bad when you vote against that.
Bad optics.
It's so the 4 people that voted against it, and then 16 people that abstained. You guys are not exonerated either. I mean, it's a slam dunk. If anything should be a bill that is unanimous, it should be this bill.
Is it a big deal though? Like,
maybe to me. I mean,
I guess
not in the grand scheme of things.
So the real question I'm asking is it a big deal from a optics, like, hey, we're moving forward, we're making a difference, or is it really doing anything? I don't necessarily think the lynching bill being a federal bill is doing anything. I'm glad it's there,
right.
And I'm glad they passed it, but is it going to make a difference or prevent someone from being lynched, right? I don't think so. I don't think it's, and I would be curious to know if the bill adds some additional layer of criminality to it. Are you looking at the details on it? And so he was looking down, so I figured that.
I got something else.
But I think it's great that they passed it. I'm just, it seems more symbolic than anything. And unfortunately, that's the game they play. How many things would they actually get through without those add-ons?
Well, I mean, it's all what you consider domestic terrorism and what you consider, terrorism outside the borders. Those guidelines that are added to terrorism that falls into something that they consider you attacking the United States, the penalties and the charges are much more severe and have a much more exact time of service, time of being in jail than if it's considered domestic terrorism. That's the reason why you see people of no pigment, when they go out and shoot 29 people, they don't ever get considered domestic terrorism. They don't label them that because it changes the exact way the criminality system has to now deal with them. So again, it's just about educating and having an understanding of why certain stuff are done. So I agree. I think it is important that even though it took 250 years for them to finally figure out that stringing up anybody from a tree should be considered
Right.
a federal hate crime.
Right.
But unfortunately, when it does happen, now there's a different set of teeth that can be applied to that individual. You know what I mean? So, that's the, you're gonna look at the glass half full, half empty type of scenario.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. It's like, look at both sides.
For sure. All right, I got a couple. Well, you said you had something new come in.
Oh yeah, just Biden takes Minnesota, Tennessee, and Arkansas. So
Wow.
it's 7 states total.
Yep.
As of
On Super
right.
Tuesday.
On
Yeah.
Super Tuesday.
I'm
Wow.
gonna start calling him. I called Biden Killmonger. You followed me on
Real.
Twitter 2 days ago. He going in there. He had a plan, and is executing.
I'll say again. You fucked them once. You're going to fuck them again, and you're going to fuck around and fuck yourself for the future. The young Bernie movement, man, like that's the future of your party. And
Well, so I'm gonna say this: if I want to watch Bernie at the end of this,
Yeah.
how is he gonna react? Is he gonna go back into his shell and run back to where's he from?
Vermont.
Vermont, and scream at
Great
the,
maple syrup.
scream at the establishment, or is he gonna be like, all right, I get it, you know what I mean? For whatever reason, I don't fit, but how can I help?
Yeah.
And so, I think you go back and look at Obama in 2008 when he first,
Yeah.
he made backdoor deals, right? But the backdoor deals were like, okay, Kerry, you're gonna be the head of state, Secretary of State or whatever. I'm gonna put you in prominent positions, so
Yeah.
we're gonna satisfy your thirst for the power and where you want to be. Not saying he didn't do a good job.
Yeah.
So I wonder if Biden has done that. Not yet with Bernie because they're still going at it.
I
but
think he definitely did it with Pete and with Klobuchar and all
Yeah,
them, and
yeah.
Beto. And Beto's weak, but he comes from the grave. I endorse Biden.
yeah.
I forgot he was a person.
Exactly.
So it just I guess the real key is to see what Warren does. So
Yeah.
she holds this progressive. She supposed to be from this progressive cloth.
Yeah.
We talked about her being a Republican at one point in time, but she's supposed to be a progressive cloth. So I kind of want to see what she does first, and then see what Bernie, because Bernie's not going to buy out right now. He's going to still push forward or whatever.
Yeah.
But at some point, you got to unite. You can't go all the way to the
Convention.
to the convention.
Yeah.
I won't say yelling and screaming, but
Yeah. Listen, to go 7 for 7 today, you can't deny that. Like it was contestable with Hillary last time. That's why he went all the way to the convention. But if it's a clean sweep for your boy,
Well, he got 2. I mean, his home.
Yeah.
He got his home state.
Yeah.
And then he got Colorado.
and he already had
So there's 14 today.
yeah.
But
So
American
Biden already
Samoa,
has 7.
though,
You're saying?
Came in for Bloomberg, I hear.
Oh my God.
did they get frisked for us?
Oh my God. Anyway.
Right.
I got a couple quick things. We don't really have to talk about these, but iPhone settlement. So Apple will pay $500 million to settle a lawsuit for slowing down older iPhones. So that's going to average out to about $25 per user. You guys can go get you a nice case, get you a nice screen. But you can't even get that. Hell, you can't even get the wired headphones at the Apple Store for that. But $25, get you a tank of gas, get you a couple foes.
I need my phone closed diabetic.
Yeah, I was about to say no fool.
Get you a couple packs of vanilla Coke Zero, whatever tickles your fancy.
You can buy the cheap AirPods. That's true. They gonna say AirPods.
Oh man, so your boy got. Let me tell y'all the story. Hold on. So, man, I really wanted the AirPod Pros. And, first world problems, of course, but I went on Let Go, Offer Up, met in Buckhead with Quan. Nigga got in my car to make the exchange. Smelled like weed. I'm pretty sure I called.
He got in your car?
Yeah. He was like, because he was trying to prove to me that these was official. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, he opened up the plastic, had the plastic on it, had the serial number and everything on the box. It looked official, you know what I'm saying? He opened it up, and it pop up on your screen like it's gonna pair. And I'm like, yeah, I got a good deal. Them shit's $250 retail.
Yeah, I know.
He was selling for $160. I'm like, okay, shit, that's what's up. So I'm like thinking I got a deal, man. Them shits was fake as fuck. Them shit was Wuhan, China. Wuhan.
I got you all in check.
Yeah, them shits was Wuhan.
Just go on.
So they're not working?
Just go on Instagram, man, and just take you a gift card and spend $25, and they're gonna still come from China, but at least you know what I mean. You gonna have weed to call.
Well, I actually did get the actual AirPod Pros. Shout out super producer Kyle.
Hit the button for him, man.
Yeah, for helping out. I won't say
How
too much,
but
but shout out to my guy. But I got the officials.
Oh, okay.
I got the real. Still got them fake ones. I was gonna try to fuck somebody else.
Fuck somebody else?
They work though, but they're
they just
actually
ain't.
really, really good fakes. Really good fakes. Phone calls crystal clear, music crystal clear. They just don't have the active noise canceling and and that's what I really like. That's what I wanted to official. But they work.
What was the moment?
The serials don't match on the box, and listen, these are really good fakes. Really good fakes. They look official. Like I said, it pops up on your phone. Like when you go to pair it and everything. Like everything, whole nine.
The TSW17.
Yeah, the W chip, bruh.
So what was
They
it
got
that
me.
he was already gone? You figured out this after the fact.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Well, at least you got some,
He was like, "All right, man, I'm gonna holler at you."
And he really sold it like, hey man, anything else you need? I got them iPhone 11s too and all. I'm like, oh my man, he's a good guy. He's just a brother out here trying to...
You got a quality backup, though. At least you got a quality backup. It ain't a starter, but it's a quality backup.
Hey man.
you better sell them play.
Yeah. So, is what it is. Anyway, Apple is gonna pay $25 to everyone roughly. So just FYI for throttling a lot of the older iPhones to try to force you to get the new shit.
You know what pisses me off here?
What?
All these settlements, they're always like $25.
It ain't worth.
$12.50,
Yeah.
$85. Who's really? I mean, are people really going through and redeeming these monies?
I'm going to.
So I think
Give me my 25.
So there's a website or there's a thing we can go to and like any unclaimed,
unclaimed monies
or whatever, and then you can I guess apply for it or whatever, and it's a period of time. Each state is a little bit different, you know what I mean? But each state has a coffin of unclaimed money that you can go out there and
because they hold it in escrow.
Yeah.
But my question is this: I have a couple questions. So, do I get 25 for all 5 of the iPhones that I've owned, or is it just a one-time?
That's
25?
a good question. Yeah.
How
My understanding is a one
You
time.
gotta
From my
provide that
understanding.
information.
how do I get my $25?
They're.
I've seen the link.
I'll say they should be attached to my Apple
Yeah, all of them.
ID.
Yeah.
So they can prove it themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it would be smarter if people got together. And it was like, yo, you're slowing down my service. But I guess someone has to get together and be like, I don't want $25. If I bought 5 iPhones and I spent on average $450 a piece, You know what I mean?
Where are you getting your iPhones for $450?
No, I'm just
From Quan in Buckhead.
I'm just throwing a easy number to kind of add up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So at the end of the day, I've spent $2, $3, $4 grand, and not even counting whatever your monthly service is, and you giving me $25. I'm going back to court. I need 2 years of service and whatever your newest phone you got. Whatever the case may be. I don't know how you would go about doing that, but I would assume there got to be a slick lawyer out there to be like, let me get a few people together and I'll make a name for myself and let's go at this again in a different way.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
it does. All right, and lastly, Judge Judy is retiring from her show, Judge Judy, after 25 years, man, on the bench. So part of a lot of our childhood is no more. So from my understanding, super producer Kyle, didn't you say that she's gonna have another show?
Yes.
Wow. You're watching on video, folks. That was super producer Kyle. Thanks, Kyle.
I made a few words.
Yeah, man. Coolest
You're
cat.
useless on the video and the mic.
Coolest cat in the country.
Hey, Pete, can you send me the link to these pictures of when Judge Judy was fine?
I will find those pictures for you, sir. That was a conversation that we had offline. Thank you for hollering me. For being a creep.
I want to know underneath the road.
So, what the good brother is talking about, I was explaining to them that there was, and I think I showed your boy these pictures, but yeah, Judy was a,
Yeah.
I mean, not
You
say anything too toxic, because I'm like,
You said she
she
had a
law.
bubble too, right?
Nah, I don't know. About
I didn't say that. I plead fifth. All right. 8 deputies involved in taking photos at Kobe Bryant's helicopter crash site.
Sick, bro.
Very sick.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Quite.
Yeah, we don't even have to talk about that. But yeah, hopefully justice is served on that. Apparently,
Straight up.
one of them was at a bar trying to impress a chick and was like, "Yeah, I got pictures."
Wow.
Yeah, you showed them.
That's
It's corny.
Wow, dude.
fucking disgusting.
What? Yeah, what kind of mother-
Simp shit. Yeah.
Come on, dog. See?
Bitch ass.
Women.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Oh, be careful. What are you saying? Hold on.
I'm just saying, men are. No, I'm just saying, man.
You say what?
We do anything.
Come again, say what?
No, I'm saying, man, men are stooped to like levels of that magnitude to impress a woman.
Agree.
That's how dumb we are.
Yeah.
Not
Some
not
of
we at
them,
this table, but like
yeah, them
we,
niggas dumb, bro.
in general.
That's how dumb them niggas
I'm just saying, man. Come on, bro. That's what you had to go to. That was gonna bag her.
Yeah.
You had the Kobe Bryant pick. Come on.
That was stupid.
I'm back to you are what you are, what you are.
True. How old is he, though?
I seen the picture. They just told me he like
Yo,
50,
I was
55. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing the force forever.
You trying to go out with
Yeah,
a bang.
yeah.
Yeah, I was on the site. I mean,
Come
yeah.
on, bro.
I don't understand the
I
angle.
wonder if he closed though.
Probably did.
Man, that's
Oh, yeah.
that's the
That-
Probably did.
That's the reason why some do what they do. 'Cause it works.
Yep.
yeah, man, that's what yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sure you got with a city girl or a hot girl at the bar. All right, Megan Thee Stallion. Did you guys see what's going on with her this week?
Y'all still hanging out?
We're on hiatus right now.
You on the break?
Yeah,
Like Ross
she got
Race?
her income tax money. She been funny.
Oh.
It's gonna run out, baby. You're gonna have to come see me.
Come on.
Yeah, you gotta come home to daddy.
You know, when I saw her with that twerk video, I thought I shed a tear for you, bro.
All right. Play a clip of Megan on a IG Live.
Keep up with that. Independent, nobody helping. The label, the first label that I'm signed to, both my labels are independent labels. Y'all on there? Y'all with me? Independent.
All right.
All that big labels, all that shit them artists doing, I'm right there rolling with them. But I'm on an independent label. But I got all the freedom to do what I be wanting to do.
All right, so Megan is signed to 1501 Entertainment. That's like the main people that she's signed to, and that particular independent label is owned by Carl Crawford, and he's a former baseball player. So she wants to renegotiate her contract. What is? Yeah, she wants to renegotiate her contract, and Carl is like, nah. No, I will not. I will not do that. So, apparently, when she was, Megan's young, when she was in her early 20s, she signed a deal that gives her label 60% of her recording income, and the remaining 40% goes to her. But in that 40%, she has to pay engineers and mixers and featured artists, etc. And they're allegedly taking, I read that it was 30% of her touring income, so she gets to keep 70. And I didn't really see a whole lot of people speak on that part of it. But Carl Crawford actually came out and defended himself, because obviously he was getting flamed, and his baby mama, Evelyn Lozada from Basketball Wives, they were all in her mentions as well. So he actually went on into Billboard and had an interview, and he says, she got 8 million followers that know they can pounce on me because I'm smaller. She knows she gonna win when it comes to that shit right there, but I don't care about that. They could thrash me or whatever they do, but the real is, you got Hollywood, you got up under Rock Nation, and you're acting like you don't have to honor your contract no more. Then you want to say you tried to negotiate. Man, you sent your lawyers in there and they want to take me out. So after Megan's Instagram live session, a Texas federal judge did grant her a temporary restraining order against 1501 Certified Entertainment, and to do nothing to prevent the release of distribution and sale of her new records. And Crawford confirmed the claims that Megan's lawsuit, which claimed that they get 60% of her recording income and she gets 40%, and that 30% of her income from touring and merch. My bad.
And merch.
And merch. Shit. So not only are they taking, her actual tour revenue, that's where most artists,
that's how they eat,
historically have made their money. But with these 360 deals, when the labels weren't making any money after Napster and people were stealing music, that's made the creation of Leor Cohen and Kevin Liles created the 360 deal. So they're like, now we want a little bit of everything because we're bleeding, because we can't make CD money no more. So, they're saying that they get 30% of her income from touring and merchandise. But he also added that Megan Thee Stallion actually has retained, and this is Carl Crawford, retained part of her masters in the deal, so that her allegations of him being, air quotes, greedy are off base. So he said, let's talk about your contract. It's a great contract for a first timer, he said. What contract gives parts of their masters and 40% royalties and all of that kind of stuff? Ask Jay-Z to pull one of his artists' first contracts and let's compare it to what Megan got. I guarantee they won't even show that. They won't ever show that. And he goes on last day to say, like, their real plan was to get you out of my contract so that they could sign you to Rock Nation. That's all they want to do. She signed with Rock Nation in August and decided she didn't want to pay me no more. They're using that as a strong arm tactic so that I can renegotiate the contract. They're holding the money and they haven't paid me since August. She done over 15 shows. Y'all do the math. She gets $100,000 a show. She owe me. And I haven't recouped almost $2 million that we spent on her, building her up so that Rock Nation would want to come around. Where was Rock Nation at when we was grinding and riding around on them back streets? Okay, got it out the mud story. You're a multi-millionaire. You got a fat ass contract from the Dodgers. Anyway, what y'all think, man? What y'all think about this? A lot of people, there's a hashtag going on right now, Free the Stallion.
There's a word that's always used. I find it funny. I'm gonna go back to our previous conversation about socialism and communism. People don't know what those words mean. I always find it funny when artists be like, "I'm independent." Ain't nobody independent. Nope. Dame Dash, you always go, "I'm my own artist." No, you're not. Or I'm not. When Rock was,
Yeah.
Rock Boys, whatever. I'm my own. No, you're not. You always owe the piper. You always owe somebody something. So she's never been independent. You know what I mean? So you got to have. She wasn't paying for those billboards. She wasn't paying for all those things to get to where she's at now.
Yeah.
And so you gotta pay. Now, granted, you make it. Nobody's first contract and nothing. I don't care. Name the profession.
Right.
Nobody's first. Your first job wasn't what you're supposed to get paid.
Right.
Hell, there's people who probably been in the game and whatever, still ain't getting paid what they're supposed to get paid.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
You have no leverage.
none. Until you get to the point where you can mix down your own stuff. You know what I mean? Do from A to Z.
Yep.
You always going to be attached to somebody. So I always laugh when they be like, I'm independent. Not really. You know what I mean? You're just not on a big label. And that's where you want to be. The Drakes and the other guys who really want to be, that have that, and everybody ain't that person to have that mindset that, you know what, it's going to be OVO or Jay-Z and Dame created Rockefeller. It's a handful, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Easy and Dre and them boys, the Cube. It's a handful. Everybody else is always going to be a slave to whatever it is.
Yeah, I was just commenting on, that he was saying that, that's a good first time deal. I mean, I wouldn't say it's great. I mean, I say it's pretty standard for but here's my little thing. When you throw in there trying to show how good the deal is, and you retain some of the masters, what does that mean? And what does that look like? And then for me, and no disrespect to your ex, or I know y'all in a weird space.
No, it's not my ex. We just
Yeah,
on a little hiatus
okay,
right now.
all right,
so,
well, no disrespect.
Yeah,
She likes to sign multiple deals.
Yeah, yeah, because she signed a 2 record labels, so she already getting fucked anyway.
Right.
both Jameson and Jared have been muted for disrespect. Your boy, it's just me and you, man. So producer Kyle, what do you think, man? What nice things do you have to say?
Man, it was a video that I was listening to, and I think she kind of later admitted that she should have read a lot of the verbiage that was in the contract. And she was kind of giving that advice to up and coming artists. She was like, she was young. I signed this deal, but didn't understand when she got to Rock Nation.
That's crazy.
So they pointed some things out to her. They're like, you signed this, right?
Yeah.
She was like, this is what that meant. And she was like, I didn't know that's what that meant.
Yeah.
I was listening to that on the way here, actually.
So look,
I'm not even gonna blame her. 2/3 of the country's stupid, and I'm talking about people. Like, there are people who can start something, and that's what they're great at, but then they're not good at running whatever it is they started. They need somebody, you know what I mean?
people.
So, and when people look at a contract, they're only thinking about, I have now created my own company, but then they don't understand. They don't own the building, so they don't understand what the logistics in that lease is and what you can and can't do in that building. But you like, what, it's my company, I can do that. It's your company, but inside these walls, they still kind of own you. You know what I mean?
Ask Papa John.
Exactly.
Papa John.
And so that's why I mean, you never independent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sidebar, no
But-
Papa John.
but on the
is
flip
trash,
side, though,
but,
what-
that Papa Dilla looks really good.
It really does.
I'm sorry.
But on the flip side, what's she supposed to do? She signed when she was 17, 18, and everybody in her household,
Yeah, they
as about as illiterate as the next person. I'm not saying that they can't read, but don't have the understanding of what the contract is. You know what I mean?
contract.
We went through that. So your boy and I, when we had our little development deal situation, that was before that. That was with the management.
That was the management.
Yeah, management. We were minors, and so we had to bring the contract, and we had to get sign off from our parents. And my mama didn't know what the fuck. She was just like,
Just happy you're doing something.
That's what you really want to do? I'm like, yeah. She's like, all right. No lawyer present, no nothing. She in a bonnet on the couch.
You know what the worst contract in the world is? Student loan.
Oh man, I work for a student loan company in Boston.
So I'm just saying, you know what I mean? It's
some people will never
Bro.
Get out of that.
Yeah,
Some people will be paying that for the rest of their natural life, unless Bernie Sanders gets. That's fine.
Or Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, no. To what he was saying. No, we went back like years later, and we joked and had these conversations. Now we go back. I still have the contract. We go back and look at that contract. Nah, but I
don't even want to look.
Yeah, bro. We was like, man, we wouldn't have made no money.
Nah.
But the thing about it is,
But I mean, at Route 15, small town. I was like, look, we like this. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
So-
Let's do it.
I don't think there's anything odd about your scenario or Megan's.
It's the business.
No,
It's the music business for sure.
Yeah.
When I heard the deal that she got, I thought that was a pretty sweet deal.
For first a new artist,
for
for
a new
sure.
artist,
For
right?
sure. It is, actually.
60%. I'm sorry, 70% of your tour money. That sounds like a lot of money.
It is.
Especially if you've done 15 shows
Oh man.
since September, and you made $70,000 a show, $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on a new contract, but I take a step back to say, how many of us looked at the contract we signed when we got our job?
Oh, how we looked at our cell phone
How many,
contract?
how many of us looked at our Apple
Terms
contract?
and conditions.
Right.
That's why we get 20
Facebook.
now.
Yeah.
How about even Facebook Messenger, where they say we can listen to sounds and noises around you to feed you content? That's why Facebook Messenger still don't have the ability. I can't take videos or audio on Facebook Messenger to this day. Simply because when I read the contract, I was like, oh, so they're going to be listening into what I'm saying. Now, granted, Apple, regular Facebook probably have that information. But that was one application where I said, I don't want to give them those rights. And so I take a step back and say, we don't really read contracts, as a culture.
And they know that.
Yeah,
They know that.
And that's how the man or the folks in charge make money. It sounds like she got a pretty reasonable deal. I'd be curious to hear what her second deal that hasn't come out is. So she may be slicing that pie that she got on that second deal.
So the second deal was with 300 Entertainment. That is Leora Cohen, the creator of the 360, and that was for distribution. So she signed to it in like 1501 is the independent that she speaks of that she's on, but 300, which to Asa's point, they claim that they're distribution, but they have Young Thug. They have some of the biggest artists in the world. I think Roddy Ricch, who had the #1 song, like all of them on 300 Entertainment.
So this all boils down to greed. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Be like, listen, pay the guy. You want out from under this contract or whatever. Let's have a seat and let's just say, you know what? Next 2 years, I'm supposed to owe you $1.2 million. Let's go ahead and cut the wash, and I give you $450 right now, and let me walk. No one wants to have that conversation. If I'm her, I want to have that conversation because
that's what she's trying to do.
If she's
but that's why she's trying to renegotiate because she most likely wants to.
There's no renegotiating the contract. Either you end the contract or
Yeah,
you
yeah.
keep
No,
it
I
all the
feel
way
you.
to the end. You
And
know
that's
what I mean?
that's his stance. He's like, nah.
That's why in the contract they have a buyout clause.
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
And so you got to
She
come
probably
to
didn't
this.
have one of those. But
No.
Well, Well then,
And so that's what they're saying. His argument is y'all trying to, you done got hot off of my initial investment.
Right.
Now y'all want to step to me because Rock Nation has the capital
Right.
to.
so she's
Step
stuck
with-
either way. So she
Yeah.
goes to Rock Nation and then because they're not going to buy out and pay the guy what he
Because
wants
they
or whatever.
lose in that deal,
They're
to be
losing.
honest. Yeah.
But if she realizes, you know what, if that happens, then I'm stuck to a different kind of devil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
And Rock Nation's lawyers and their knowledge of the business, and I think what Buddy said is right. She wouldn't have gotten that deal from Rock Nation.
No. Not starting out with
No way.
no buzz, no nothing. Yeah. Not at all.
But now that it's time for him to eat, she
Yeah.
don't want to ante up.
yeah.
And I think what you were getting at earlier was, when you have that buyout contract or you come and negotiate and say, I'll pay you this off of future royalties, you got to pay that back $450. Plus, if let's just say she's projected to do 100 shows, and make, they would make 3 million, 30 million off of those shows. And then she comes in and says, I'll give you $5 million for that future revenue that hasn't been accrued. And then he could say yay or nay in order to get out the contract. This is what you were getting at, right?
Yeah. So I mean, but so this is again where you gotta look at artists and they gotta realize whether or not they got a second stream of income. You know what I mean? So and this and now in this multimedia format, can you create your own? So I'll give some credit to Cardi B. You know what I mean? She's kind of created multiple lanes. I think Nicki Minaj tried to do it, but it didn't really. You know what I mean? So
Nicki did it. She just fell off.
So you know, how can you? That first contract, you're gonna be stuck with it. No matter how good or how bad, you're gonna be stuck with it because you're not gonna, like I said, probably don't even have a buyout clause, and then you're gonna trade the witch for the devil with the bigger company that can pay you more money, but you're gonna get stuck in the middle. So now you got to figure out how can you create some different lanes of avenue. Can I get?
And they were saying that she was saying so the way that we even got here with that whole live that she did was she wanted to release music, and she was saying that they weren't allowing her to release music. I'm guessing that the play, probably from Rock Nation's vantage point, was, all right, let's go ahead and get these out of there so that you fulfill your however many album contracts so we can get on our business. And they was like, oh, you hot right now. We gonna stretch this out. We gonna stretch this out. We not just gonna throw out albums.
Just because.
Yeah, so you can throw out a mixtape and say that it's a LP and then throw out 2 more quick ones. After Frank Ocean did what he did, labels was like, oh, hell no, we're not going to let that happen. Frank played his label beautifully. He released that, what was it? Not the Blonde album. Blonde was on his label the same night or the next night.
Right.
But he released that visual album to fulfill his contract. And then the next night shitted on it and released his own project exclusively through Apple Music.
I think it was a genius.
That was brilliant.
That was a genius.
But labels see that now, they're like, oh no, we never gonna let that shit happen again. Nah. You got one, but nah.
Yep, and I think it's just good business for him to keep the deal.
Why
would he get rid of it?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
It's not like she's getting 30% of this tour money and he's getting 70.
Right.
You know,
it sounds like a fair deal for a new artist, man.
But see, I'm interested to be like that 70% that we saying is so good.
Yeah.
How is your show looking like? Like, what are you paying for as far as the stay? Because it usually comes out of the artist.
I saw Megan at birthday bash last year, and I've seen video highlights of some of her other tours. It's a rap tour, bro. It's a rap concert. It ain't Yeezus, Kanye level stage.
I didn't think it was that, but okay.
Mountains and shit and lava and like, it's nothing.
That's right, girl. Save your money. Just work.
Yeah, right. It's just a DJ, maybe a screen behind her. And,
she's the mountain.
Yeah. Okay, hey.
No disrespect.
Hey, watch your mouth.
No disrespect. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Bitch, all right, man. Let's good talk. Let's move on to the next.
Wait, I have one more thing to say on this.
Watch your mouth.
About those mounds. No, sincerely though, what is distribution these days?
Right. Good point.
Digital.
it's like Bitcoin because the money they make off streaming, I ain't figured that math out yet either.
But what I'm saying, my point is this:
if we're being honest, it's relationships.
It is.
Yeah, payola. I won't say payola,
it's
but
payola.
Payola. Yeah.
Yeah. Is the distribution really just the relationship with the people who are playing the music, like from a radio station perspective, from a DJ perspective? Because I used to think distribution was getting your music in the stores.
It
Right?
was.
It was like, hey, we got you in all of Target. We got you in all of Walmart. You know what I mean?
It was.
But today, that shit doesn't matter.
Well, here's the kicker. Leo Cohen is not just the CEO of 300 Entertainment. He's also the head of music at YouTube.
Yeah.
So when you talk about
so my man getting money.
He getting hand over fist. And again, this is the creator of the 360.
Right.
So, you know.
Yeah, it's like a self-cannibalization when it comes to that. I'm just...
And we didn't even talk about the Jay Prince angle. You know, Carl Crawford of 1501 Entertainment is backed by Jay Prince. And if you know Jay Prince, you know that that's somebody that is not to be fucked with. So, tough spot. Like when she signed with Rock Nation, first thing Carl Crawford did was post a Instagram clip of him and Jay Prince together. Like, yeah, try it. Try it. And Jay Prince like, we ain't gonna tolerate no disrespect. You know what I'm saying? So
Is he a hood guy?
nah, he's a businessman. He's a businessman. Jay Prince.
Hey, shout out to Jay Prince. I want
I'm
no
about
smoke.
to say,
No
you see
smoke.
niggas talking
Yeah,
around
man.
like, yeah, nah, he,
We
you know,
love Houston.
like, nah, yeah, that's Jay Prince.
It's Jay Prince. It ain't Jay Prince.
Yeah.
You guys look a little nervous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Should I be nervous not knowing who it is?
Yes. Yes.
All right, I wanted to get your opinion, man, on this, and then we can get ready to get up out of here. I don't watch Love and Hip Hop, or excuse me, Real Housewives. I know James does. Jameson does. And your boy, I know y'all watch Real Housewives. So maybe y'all saw this scene. Eva Pickford.
I don't.
Me either.
Oh, y'all stop. Okay.
I never started.
I know y'all used to watch it. I know that was your show. Anyway,
Getting us confused.
yeah, nah, not at all.
Gotta be.
All right, so I guess it was on a recent episode. There was a scene where Eva Pickford and Eva, of course, as we know, is from Top Model fame, and she's been on numerous other shows, but now she's on is Housewives, Real Housewives. And there's a scene where she's getting her daughter's last name changed from the father's last name to her current husband. And she went on to Wendy Williams and talked about that briefly. Let me play that clip. So yeah, she went and got his name changed, and her daughter's name changed from her daughter's father, Kevin McCall. And Life Jennings had something to say about that. He commented, he was like, I think this is so whack. Changing your daughter's last name from her father's to somebody else's, especially when the father tries to see her. The daughter don't have anything to do with their beef. And what kind of man allows that? Shit pissed me off. I expected better out of Eva. Shit is personal to me. I've been there. And of course he caught some flack from a lot of the ladies and the boo birds and the comments of Shade Room. And he doubled down. He was like, listen, I said what I said and I meant it. If he was a drug addict, there's still hope for him. If he was in jail, there's still hope for him. Never let anybody tell you you're not good enough. To all my loyal fans, your redemption is coming. Fuck what they say. We all fall short sometimes. May all the bridges you break be stacked up and used to stand on to reach the heights God has for you. It ain't over. I swear it ain't. And to the little homie Kevin, get the help you need and fight back for you and yours. We are rooting for you. So I saw that, and there was another clip actually from the Breakfast Club. Let me see this. I don't know these people, but let me play this clip real quick. So I don't know who these people are, but Angela Yee basically was like, so you're basically changing your daughter's names without the biological father's consent. I'm not a father, so I will yield to the fathers at the table, man. What are y'all thoughts on this? Asa, put the phone down. what are y'all thoughts, man?
I don't know none of these people either. But it's common. Well, common sense ain't common either. Like I said before we came on here, man, whenever you see this for men and women, fathers and mothers, whenever you see older people and their kids don't mess with them, this is the reason why. On either side. because I don't know what the dynamics are outside of either parent just being strictly absent, or for those individuals that maybe don't know who the father is. you don't erase that half of that child's life. You know what I mean, as far as who their family is. That's just, you can change their last name all you want. They still belong to a particular clan. You know what I mean? So when you start having those questions later on, I don't know how old this child is, but when he or she gets to be 11, 12, 13, 14, and he realizes, I don't look like the dude. Now, even though that they've been a parent to them, they're going to still be questions like, who am I? You know what I mean? I want to know that other side. And when they start to find out that you purposely put up bridges and purposely made it difficult to get there, you're going to have to reckon with that. You know what I mean? And it may not even come out all at once. It'll just be certain things that child, which is now an adult, don't deal with you anymore on certain things, and then you'll be wondering why. You know what I mean? And then you're gonna have people playing that victim game later on in life.
I feel what you're saying about, that's the type of stuff that you do when when you get older, you don't fuck with your parents. Me and my dad, we have a tumultuous relationship at best. And, it's because of things that he's done over the years. He had always been the best dad to me or my sisters. But he's my goddamn dad. And that's my last name. It's his last name. And I wouldn't change that because, him and my mom had me. Me hearing this, it pisses me off to another level because regardless, I have a co-parent. We have a great relationship. Just saw her this past weekend along with the kids. We hadn't always had the greatest relationship. And we fought to have the relationship that we have now. And for me to sit there and just think about that when things were a little rocky, that if she was ballsy enough to sit there and do that and change my daughter's last name, oh my God, that's without my consent. You ain't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
I don't care what I did. I don't care what a relationship is. No, that's almost like spitting in somebody's face. That is the ultimate disrespect.
You can't forgive?
You cannot forgive that. You cannot forgive that. That's my child. We had her. That was the girl. Mm-hmm. We had her. That's my child.
Yeah.
No. And it's like you said, you're trying to almost erase this legacy that I have with my family that she's connected to. You don't do that shit. You don't do that shit to anybody, regardless. And I know there's people out there that probably be like, if it's bad on drugs or if it was, abusive or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm taking a hard stand on that because as a father, that's disrespectful. It's just disrespectful.
Man, my case is a bit different from you guys, being that I came into a situation where I'm a step parent, but my situation was also just like the typical case. That you hear, like my son's father was never in the picture, but even though he wasn't, that's something that my wife and I didn't. We never discussed. Like she never came to me and was like, "Hey, is there something that you would want to do? Do you want to do?" Like she never came to me about that. And even if she did, you know, I'm like you. That's something that I wouldn't even entertain doing. Because I guess to me it wasn't the name thing. It really wasn't a big deal. You know, it's about, you know, what's taking place in the house and the real situation at hand. Like, we know what's going on, and that was good enough for everybody. And my ego wasn't gonna get in the way and be like, well, since he need to have my name, it was nothing. Even when we, got married and her name changed, it was like his name was gonna stay, what it was. And my situation was similar to his, being that my mom and my biological father they never married or anything. Just like,
there it is.
Yeah,
There's a train being ran through the annals of West Midtown. It's
my situation was kind of unique, and it kind of explained to me when my biological father and my mom had me. Typically you take the name of the father. My granddad kind of stepped in and was like, no, I want him to remain a Ragland. I want him to keep the name, the legacy going, because I was like the first grandchild born into the house.
First boy.
So they wanted, that was something that he really wanted. And plus, I guess it was easy because my mom didn't have nothing to do with him at that point. So it was like it didn't. And thank God they made that they made that choice, because I'm like you, like me and my we don't have the best relationship either. So I think that's foul though, because it's like you said, it's almost like she's trying to erase McCall's lineage, his lineage, and he won't know anything about who he really is. I don't agree with it. I just feel like the guy should have stepped in and been like, nah, this ain't cool. Like, to me, he like we were saying before, he simped out. Like,
So, how do you guys feel about a hyphen? Like hyphen with your stepson, or if your baby's mother got married and then wanted to hyphenate?
Nope, I don't have kids. Nope.
I'm not with my child's mother, and how she gonna hyphen her name?
Not her name. The child's name.
Dude.
No, I'm talking about her as my daughter. How she gonna hyphen her name?
Well, she can hyphenate with whoever her husband is. That way she can identify with the mom if the mom changes her name to her new husband's name.
I mean, that's fine. Actually, that's kind of, I won't say stupid, whatever the reason is. you gotta still say my name. You feel what I'm saying? You gotta still say my last name. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think it's the smartest thing in the world.
Me neither.
But sometimes families want to have that familiar structure, right? And so to hyphen the last name doesn't wipe you off the face of the earth, but it gives them that homogenous name that they can identify with. So it's like, hey, we're the Browns over here,
Yeah.
And now you're married again, you're the Browns Joneses, or whatever. She's a Browns Jones. And I was just curious what you guys thought about it. So 2 no's and one okay. And I had another.
Well, you know what? If it was
hell no.
If it was discussed,
Let the record.
like, and that's the additional caveat. Yeah, if it was discussed, like, we gonna sit down as a family and discuss this, the way you're talking about it, maybe I might be open to thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? But you going and just doing it,
your own.
hell nah.
Yeah. So my other question: how old is this child? Is the child 2, 3? Is the child 7,
she's
12?
She's like 5 or 6.
So,
or something like
again,
that.
I think people just don't think beyond what's going on at the very moment.
Yeah.
So now
Selfish.
We see it. We see it a lot.
Yeah,
like,
so now again, child gets to be 15. Again, she started looking at old boy. You don't look nothing like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is a simple question. You can ask people who have been, people who have been adopted. They always, there's a period of time in which, even though they've been loved by their adoptive parents, they still wanted this. It's something inside you that you want to be able to identify and find out what's going on. And so it's just not a good look once you start get old enough, you start piecing together really how it goes down. It's just not going to be but people only think about themselves and the immediate emotion of what's going on.
Get something else. That's good. So look, I have another scenario. So my sister, my whole life, had a different name, different last name. We have the same dad, different mom, and it was always something I was like, damn. When I was younger, I was wondering how she got that name, right? So her mom, on her immigration papers, gave her the name of her stepfather, or the person who she immigrated with. And I always felt a kind of way about it. Like my whole life, I was like, you're grown. You could change your name to our name. Why not? Why not do that? And I asked that question earlier about the family having that homogenous name, because that is one of the reasons why they did it, right? Because she had a couple other brothers, both of her last name she immigrated with, and so she kept it. And so it wasn't until she had kids, or was about to have kids, when she was like, it's something very important, with that familiar name. And I just saw the difference that it made for my dad. It was something that he was just like, oh, wow. He couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? Because I don't have any kids. My brother has a daughter. My sister has the only sons. And for the ability to carry on that legacy, it made such a huge difference. And I could understand you guys. I can understand through his experience how you would feel if your child's name was changed. And it's just crazy kind of thinking back on it, because that's really kind of what happened to him. Now, I don't know if it was a conversation, because communication was different, 50, some odd years ago, than it is today. So did they even have the opportunity to really have a robust conversation about it like we would have today? So
in this case, dude, wrong, man. He could have put an end to that. But
oh yeah,
that's something
the husband.
I wouldn't have done. Like, I wouldn't be selfish like that and be like,
These guys, man. Like the
What you
guy
call
from
him
the Breakfast Club clip I played.
What you call me? A simp?
Yeah, he's
6 7
Yeah, Breakfast Club clip. That dude looked like a straight simp in the background. And Eva's guy, I'm pretty sure he's like, baby, if this is what you want to do, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
What's so funny though is he's like, used to be. He's kind of a well-known person in Atlanta, so it's not like he's some slouch, but
You know what you gotta do? You gotta whip it,
beat that.
reverse it.
Wow.
Hit it. Toxic masculinity.
Ace is now a part of the show.
But you know what, though? And I will say this, man. We can start to get out of here. Kevin McCall has a history of mental health issues. I don't know if he's properly diagnosed as, like bipolar or schizophrenic or anything, but...
So even with that,
I don't think
you gotta understand. So I hope the child doesn't, have the same issue that her father has.
Right.
But his personality is a part of her at some point.
True.
Stuff is gonna pop up.
come out.
You gotta answer that question. Well, you know what, sweetheart? Unfortunately, on your side of the family down the line, they gotta, it's like any health question. Why, why do I am more not propone, but
Wow.
what's the that's that frappy, that frap. Why am I more susceptible to certain diseases? Well, your family has a, you know what I mean? And if you don't know that, and then you 45 years old in the hospital trying to figure out what's going on because your mom or your dad hid that whole part of your life.
True.
Oh, you could have told me this. You could have told me this 20 years ago. Maybe I would have made a change in my diet. Or I might have made a change in, what I do or whatever. And I never had an opportunity to do so because you hid this from me.
And who's to say that, by the time and we pray no, but if that's discovered that he hadn't gotten his life together and could be a resource, like you said, could help with how to deal with this. But if you banish him,
It's selfish. It's
Yeah.
It's selfish. It's selfish to yourself because you at some point had some feelings for that person. Y'all created a child together.
Yep.
So no matter how mad you might get upset or whatever, you can't erase. None of us can erase.
Like wipe them off.
Yeah. None of us can erase, and I won't even call it a mistake. None of us can erase what we've done in the past. You know what I mean? Especially when you bring another person into the world. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I have a son, I have a daughter. No, I'm not with that parent anymore. I co-parent, but I have a child. And I'm going to do whatever. You just can't do it, man. It's just.
and I saw somebody say that too. It's like almost like you're trying to erase a mistake. Something that you're not proud of from your past.
Disconnect yourself.
Yeah, so I got this new thing now, and I'm excited about this, what I'm building over here, and just to completely wipe that chapter,
It's not a tattoo that you got on a drunken night.
Right.
It's a child.
Yeah.
Man, that's a whole nother.
But you may have got it on a drunken night, though.
I mean, that's how Brooklyn came. But beside the point. The point is, she mine. Lock, stock, and barrel.
I can.
Should have had them apple bottom jeans.
All right, man. Let's we can get out of here. I gotta say it, though. We can say this for another show. But that was to my point. I was thinking about the other day, like how chicks be trying to erase the smash. I've seen chicks. I don't know if y'all seen chicks do that.
Oh, of course.
Like you making these little subliminal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you seen it? Like chicks be like making these little subliminal posts online. Like, well, if you dab with me at this, and like, nah. I still.
Well, like your girl Drea was like, my wholeness is erased. I've erased my whole face. Like,
you can't erase this.
Yeah.
Come on. No,
Yeah.
I still smell it. But anyway, we good.
Well, if it's true.
Yeah, I don't mean it's toxic.
That's right. All right, folks. We thank y'all for joining us tonight. Good dialogue, Jonah. Good dialogue. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you were here with us. We appreciate that. Until next time, stay blessed, stay vexed.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Hey, so where can we find your show?
Oh, for sure.
Plug, bro.
We got a professional here, folks. This ain't just no one of the stragglers,
No, first of all, I appreciate y'all letting me in, coming into the.
Oh.
My bad.
I ain't let you in nowhere.
Appreciate y'all having me here.
Whoa. I'm joking.
Yeah, so you can find me. I'm one half of the DNA Sports Talk Show. So the A and the DNA is what they call me. We come on every Monday, 7 to 9 p.m. on WWWE 1100 AM's Atlanta, local Atlanta show. But you can find us on all social media platforms and find the link. Just put in DNA Sports Talk and you'll find it. Gmail, Google, Gram, Snapchat, Facebook, Periscope. So, 7 to 9 every Monday.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Well, I was in the middle of my
Sorry about that.
little ending soliloquy there, but yeah. Thanks, Jameson. All right, guys.
Didn't want to leave my boy out.
Bye.
One.
Get vexed.
Peace.
Peace.